warm welcome to all the students attending this webinar today. As part of our webinar series on Institute Focus, today we have a focus on the SPJIMR Institute of Management and Research, which is very commonly known as SPJIMR, and it's a leading management school based in Mumbai. Part of the Bharati Vidya Bhavan, it's an autonomous institute and ranked 21st in the management category in the NRF rankings 2022. Today we have with us Dr. Renuka Kamath and Mr. Rammesh Mishra. Dr. Renuka Kamath has been associated with SPJIMR for more than 18 years. She is the Associate Dean for Full-Time Programs, as well as the Professor in Marketing, Strategic Sales and Channel Management. She has a total of experience of more than 32 years, which includes industry experience of 15 years with leading companies like Whirlpool, IL, and FS. She's a PhD from Mumbai University and also holds a PGDM marketing from TFI Management Institute, Manipal. Mr. Rammesh Mishra is Assistant Director Marketing, SPJIMR. Prior to that, he was associated with OP Jindal Global University, NMIMS University, Time Institute, and Malayalam Manorama Media House. So for more than 15 years, he's been training and guiding students and preparing them for a large variety of entrance exams, GDs, interview preparations, as well as selecting the right schools to apply. Welcome on board, Professor Renuka and Mr. Rammesh Mishra. I hand over the stage to you to continue talking about why SPJIMR, how it helps students, and why students should be, making a good choice of school and course and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabha, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. And I would like to welcome all the participants who are there on screen. And we'll just start with our sessions. I guess Prabha has introduced a brief introduction about SPJIMR, Institute of Management and Research. Yes, SPJIMR happens to be one of the top B schools in India, constantly ranked as #1 by majority of the media houses and various ranking surveys. We are constantly as top 5 institutes in India. Now, this is just one of the achievements, but I'm sure for having more than 41 years of legacy, we have so many feathers in our cap, which I guess none other than Professor Renuka Kamath would be able to give us a complete journey of how SPJIMR has moved to this stage. So my first request to Professor Renuka will be, Professor Renuka, if you could just let us know how SPJIMR was established and how we have moved to a level where we are constantly ranked as #1 B school in India.
Yeah, yes, thanks, Ramesh. It's been quite a long run for me at SPJIMR. It's a school, it's probably one of the youngest top schools in India. We started and established in 1981. But it's been a journey of sorts because we've done things which are a little different. And we will talk about during the course of the time we have with all the people who have joined, what we have done different. But yes, we are ranked amongst the top 5 in the country in any ranking you see. And amongst the private schools, we are ranked #1. So it's always an honor. It's been an honor for me also to be working for so many years with the #1 ranked private school in India. Ramesh, we also have, while we are based in Mumbai, and that's where our school is, we also have a center in Delhi. And those of the participants today who have joined from Delhi or who know Delhi would know Kasturba Gandhi Marg or KG Marg, which is absolutely central Delhi. And we have a center there which we operate our part-time programs and also our modular programs and also senior executive level programs that we do from our Delhi center. So broadly, that's what it is. And we have more than 12,000 plus alumni in the industry across our various programs. So interestingly, the way we grew, we have programs for different sections of society. We have the PGDM program for which we are meeting today. We have a program for more than 5 years experienced people. We have a program for working executives. We have a program for family managed business. Those are the 2nd and 3rd generation family managed people who manage families, entrepreneurship, and many others. Even in the social sector, we have another program. So we have, I can go on and on, Ramesh, so you have to stop me at some point. So that's a very brief introduction of SPJIMR.
Yeah, you truly said, it's a really proud for all of us. In fact, I have been a recent, I have been associated with SPJIMR family. So yes, I can say even I'm proud of it. And trust me, when we speak about the campus, I can say one thing is very clearly which mesmerized me over here is like the campus, such a greenery in Mumbai city. Having a 45 acre of area, it's next to impossible when we always talk about Mumbai as a city having a very space crunching kind of a thing where we have 45 acres. I guess it's a wow factor. So those who are in Mumbai, they can always visit our campus at any point of time, and they can just have a look. And maybe who are out of Mumbai, they can always have a visit, and we can follow our social media handles where we can see all those kind of what kind of infrastructure we are having. Now, that's the SPJMR all about. Now, of course, we are here to discuss about various programs, what we have to offer for our audience. And to be very precise, we'll be talking about the program which is more relevant to the audience for today's evening. It happens to be two programs. What we have is postgraduate diploma in management. That's a PGDM, very popular, and it's a flagship program of SPJMR. And we have launched one more program this year itself, this academic year. It is known as PGDM and Business Management. So I am just aware about these two part, and of course, Professor Renuka would be again, I will say like she's the best person to throw insights, what this program all about, what is going to be covered in this 2 years span of time, and how students will be getting benefited by pursuing these such kind of programs. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so one thing that I would like to start with is our PGDM program, which is a flagship program, one of the oldest, our first program at SPJIMR, has specializations. So we have 4 specializations in it, which all of you who apply there will have to state your specialization at the time of applying, which is marketing, finance, operations and supply chain, and information management, which is IT. So these are the 4 specializations in PGDM. PGDM BM, which is business management, we have chosen to keep it for general management, as general management. So if you apply, you can apply to any one, or you can apply to both, and you will be interviewed separately for both in round 1. So that's broadly what PGDM is at this point in time. PGDM is an AICTE approved program, and it is also recognized by AIU, which means if you want to go ahead and do your PhD at any time, or want to apply for further studies, or want to migrate to another country, at times you need the AIU certification. It is our oldest program. But what is interesting in both the PGDM and PGDM BM programs, which have pretty much similar or almost identical curriculum, is that we have not just specialization, but we have what we call very proudly as the non-classroom activities, and what we are very famously known for, which means and we very firmly believe that there is as much to learn outside the classroom as much as it is within classroom. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, there is, we have a course on spirituality, which, has different elements. We have a course on what we call as ADMAP, which is on administrative potential. So we divide all the students into committees, and each committee has a faculty facilitator. And these committees actually practically run many aspects of the institute, and there's a lot of freedom that is given. And these are all credit-based programs. They are not just free-flowing. They are very serious credit-based programs. The third one is our DOCC, which is Development of Corporate Citizenship, where all the students of our first year spend 6 weeks in the rural part of our country. And we believe that is where the true India or Bharat is. And we want all our students to understand how NGO sector works there, how in an unstructured environment, you can apply all the frameworks and all the concepts that you have learned in the first year and solve real life business problems at an NGO at ground level, where the action is happening, where truly management inputs can make a lot of difference. Currently, we partner with almost 400 NGOs across the country, and quite a few outside the country, in countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Colombia, and a few others as well. So that's the way we operate. And apart from that, we have a few others, like we have a personal growth lab that happens, and many more. So these are, Ramesh, I would say, the key aspects of our PGDM and PGDM BM program, which spans the entire first year. And the second year, of course, is a specialization driven. So, I mean, if you want me to expand on anyone, I can, but as I always say, I can go on and on.
Yeah, no, but I have a lot of questions to, to be asked, definitely coming from my mind and as well as from students' mind also. Definitely they will have such questions. One is like, when we talk about specializations, the common question, even when I was preparing for MBA, so my inclination was more towards HR, but later on I realized, no, my true inclination is towards marketing. So there was such a professional guidance which was given to me 15 years before, but now I as such like we have various modes through which we can get some information. So one is question like, what is this specializations when we talk about this marketing, finance, what is going to be covered, and moreover, how a person should be able to choose. Like I'm an engineering coming from engineering background, so is like I will be doing a better job if I choose the information management or operations management, or can I also do marketing or say finance? Will I be able to do justice with my undergraduate degree?
Good. I'm glad you asked that, Ramesh, because we keep getting asked this question. And even informally, even in my extended friends and family, my own son, when he applied 2 years back, we had these are very valid and relevant questions, and questions that are very concerning to applicants, I would say. So first of all, I would like to inform everybody that when you apply in SPJIMR, you have to apply for preference 1 specialization and preference 2 specialization. So you will, as much as possible, be interviewed for specialization 1. If the fit is better in specialization 2, you will be told that you are being called for interview for specialization 2. Now let's get down to the main question. How do you apply? How do you know which is the best fit? So if you have work experience, I'll divide my answer, Ramesh, into 2 parts. One is freshers, people who do not have work experience or have very less work experience, and those who have work experience. So if you have work experience and you have worked in a certain field, let's say a marketing field, or you have been on the shop floor, or you have been doing coding in an IT company, or you have been, in a finance or a bank or any other, if you want to be in the same stream, then the answer is very clear because the fit is excellent. You just go apply into the for one of the 4 specializations. And you will build upon whatever experience you have. It will also help you in placements as you go, as they come at the end of your MBA. If you want to change, let's say you have been on the shop floor and now you want to change to marketing, that is also possible. But the only thing is, when you are called for the interview, you have to show your interest. You have to explain why since you have been in R&D, or you have been in supply chain, or you have been on the shop floor. But now, this brands and marketing is very exciting. I want to change. I want to apply there. Then you have to, in the interview, when you come for interview, explain to the interviewers very well, why is it? You can demonstrate. There are many applicants who very passionately explain why they are interested in marketing. So be careful, make sure you make the right choice. Now let me come to the answer for people who do not have work experience. You are freshers and you want to apply. Now, I would say you can apply. It's an open playing field for you. You can apply to anyone. But the second point, which is for the first group, remains the same for you. When you come for interview, you have to explain why is it that you want to apply for marketing or finance. Now, let's say you are an engineer. There are many times, Ramesh, there are applicants who say, I'm an engineer. I don't know whether I can go for finance or not. I'm a fresher. I'm an engineer. Should I go for finance or not? Why not? Of course, you can apply for finance. Finance has got a lot of numbers, it's got balance sheet, it's got a lot of metrics, it's got a lot of ratios, and engineers have dealt with numbers. If you're a BCom graduate, of course, you can apply for finance. If you're a BCom graduate, can you apply for marketing? Of course, you can apply for marketing. Can you apply for supply chain operations? You can. However, how can you demonstrate to us that you're interested and you're a good fit for the applied specialization? In both these groups, whether you are a fresher or you are with WorkX, you should ensure that you have done something. You have done a project, or in your school, you have done some, maybe you have been part of a committee, you have led a team, or you have done some out of the curriculum project, or you have read something, which is very interesting. And when the interviewer asks you more, you can deep dive into it and explain. We are okay with any of these. We are just welcoming people who have done some homework, have understood, and then apply. And on a last point, Ramesh, one more thing that I would like to, as a very personal advice, leave with all the participants here who have joined, is that please reach out to people before you make a choice. Whether you are applying to SPJIMR or you're applying to any other business school, doesn't matter. It's your life. So before you apply to an MBA school, talk to people, talk to your extended friends and family, talk to people you know. Write a mail to somebody on LinkedIn that you find, has done some very exciting and interesting work. You'll be surprised at how much people are willing to share their experience. And check with them. Do you think this will be a good fit for me or another will be a good fit for me? And people who know you will probably be in a position to advise you better. People who don't know you can give you some information on which you can base your choice. So, Ramesh, I'm not sure if I missed anything, please add on, or you can just ask me more.
No, I guess that's a wonderful advice you have given, because in India, especially, you come across people who will give a lot of gyan, and without they themselves have experienced, or neither they must be having, must have not done also, still they are open to give an advice. So it's always suggested, like, take a guidance and advice from people who have really gone through certain process, or they must have experienced something.
Yeah.
So that is a one thing. One question, ma'am, which always comes to my mind also, and of course now I'm an experienced professional, but the thing is, like, the audience who might be just thinking about getting into marketing, and since you're a professor for marketing, that's the reason my question has come to you. Many people, they feel like, okay, I don't want to get into sales job, and if I do marketing, that means I will be getting a sales job. So that's the reason I want to avoid. So is that true?
Okay. This is something, I have to tell everybody that doing a sales job is not a small job. It is a very important job. So that is one thing that I want to say to everybody. Secondly, the reality of the industry is that before you get into hardcore marketing and branding, you have to do a sales stint. And this has become practically mandatory in all organizations in the last so many years. So you have to do some sales before you get into a marketing or a branding kind of a job or a strategy job. Because if you don't know what's happening on the field, if you don't know what is happening at ground level, how are you going to become a good marketer, you tell me? You won't even know what's working, what works, what doesn't work. If you have never interacted with a retailer, you have never interacted with a distributor, or you are making a scheme and you're making some brochure, then you don't even know where they're going to keep it. Is there a place to hang it over there? How much inventory will they want to carry? Do they have enough money to invest in your brand? So, Ramesh, I think that's the reason all companies have anyway made it mandatory. So whether they join in SPJIMR or they join any other B school, they will have to, everybody has to go through that stint. And it's a very important part of grooming for a good, hardcore, genuine, passionate marketer. Without that, there is a weak link, I would say.
Yeah, that's right, ma'am. So now my next question comes up. Yes, you have been talking about, the kind of exposures what students will be getting in the classroom, the mode of teaching, and the other things what will be incorporated in our curriculum, which is obviously going to be industry oriented and other things. One question elements always comes up, like how much is the exposure given to the students in terms of international exposure? Like we do have international visits or international exchanges, or say some kind of a faculty coming from abroad, or they must have studied and come and teaching over here. So if you can just elaborate over this point.
Yeah, we have all these actually, Ramesh. So one of the things that distinguishes us out of all the MBA, other top B schools in the country, is that we have 3 weeks, which we are planning to make it 4 weeks, but currently it is 3 weeks. Global fast track is what we call it, where students spend 3 weeks at a top business school in the US. Of course, this year, last 2 years, it hasn't happened because of COVID. And this year too, there have been issues of visa. Everybody's aware that US visas are very delayed. But this year we are going, this batch, it will go to Europe. So 3 weeks, 3 credits in a foreign business school. Next year, once their visa application windows, which the US embassy has told us are going to open, we will shift back to the US. And we have all the top schools in our partners. We have Carnegie Mellon, which is CMU. We have UT Austin. We have Cornell. We have Michigan. We have Darden, all the top schools in all areas of our specialization. We have partners for the last so many years. Our students go there. So that's one, which is entire batch goes. And that's part of a mandatory requirement of completing PGDM and PGDM BM. And then apart from that, there is an option all students have to take an international exchange, which we in a short form call INTEX. That varies. That could be 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the school that takes them. And there also, there is a signing up of credit structure, and students go there. They have a fabulous experience. All the INTEX students go to Europe. No, none. I think there is one school in US, but again, because of visa restrictions, that is not going to happen this year. But we are trying to open up our other Asian markets as well this year. But currently, all students go to Europe for that. Coming to foreign business professors, yes, we do have business professors who come in and teach individual courses. So we have an excellent professor, very popular professor who comes from UT Austin. He teaches a course over here, which is user-generated content, and gets them to actually do sentiment analysis on social media handles, actually gives them money, and to invest and understand how social media works and how user-generated content can be used for marketing. So, and like that, we have many. That's just one example, but we do have professors coming from foreign business schools to SPJIMR to teach courses. So these are the various things apart. And the fourth thing is we have exchange. We are, as the INTEX, as it suggests, we have foreign students coming to our campus. And they stay on, some of them stay on our campus in our hostels. There's a lot of intermingling. And currently we have students from France who are there. Almost about 15 students are there on campus. And our students get an opportunity to mix with them as well. So that's my response to your question, Ramesh.
Thanks, ma'am. One thing which, in fact, motivated me also to join SPJIMR as a part of the family, which I have been knowing since my MBA days, is like SPJIMR is very well known in terms of producing, or I can say, giving to the society as a very socially sensitive business leader. That is something like which makes it, I guess, none of the B school in the country, in India, at least I can say, to whatever research I have been doing, and I have been into the education management industry for last 15 years, at least I have never come across such things, and which I can sense also for last many months, what I can sense in the campus, that has been true. So what do you do in terms of producing such a socially sensitive business leader? I mean, they can manage the business as well as they have to be really socially sensitive also. So how you balance these things? Because let me just add one more stuff. When we hear the news right now coming up, Facebook is, going for a downsizing, or say Byju's are going on. I'm just taking the name of which is doing the rounds in the market. So how we are creating the business leaders who are going to be really, really socially sensitive also.
Yeah, it's a question that other business schools also ask us, at 21, 22 years of age, when people come, how do you make that change? I'll be very honest, Ramesh, I think this is also one of the reasons I have been at SPJIMR for so long. This is one of the reasons it has appealed to me, because I see it all around in our students, in our peers, in our non-teaching staff, everybody. And how do we do it? We do a few things. Of course, our interview process itself, when we take in, we want people who believe that this is an important aspect of a leader. And that's part of our interviewing, which we can cover a little later, Ramesh, maybe in this session. The other thing is that, every PGDM and PGDM BM student actually practically adopts a child. And when I say adopts, I'll just explain to you what that means. But a small child, a young child from in and around Andheri in our campus in Mumbai. And they are called sitaras, these small children. And these children are selected by us because they excel either in academics or in any extracurricular activities. We sponsor their entire education from standard 7 to 10. And even post that. We call it junior college in Mumbai. In other cities, it is 11th and 12th, right? And our first year students actually become mentors to each of these students. So what does it mean? Our students visit them in where they stay, in wherever they are staying in and around Mumbai. They come from very socially as well as economically very deprived environments. And our students go there, mingle with them, teach them their curriculum, and they become like didis and bhaiyas for these little children. And for 1 year, they are mentored by our first year student. Then the first year students hand them over, and there is a hastantran, which is formal ceremony where they hand them over to the next batch. And so whether it is life lessons, whether it is advice on how to deal with a situation, or it is that they are struggling with coping with a certain subject, or they want help with a particular assignment to understand, not that our students do their assignment, not that way, but any in-depth understanding they want, our students help them. Many times sitaras come to our campus and there are many events that they do. So this program, which I've explained to you now, is called Abhyudaya. And Abhyudaya is one of those things which is actually our alumni have told us that it is life-changing for them. And it's amazing what this concept, the way this program was conceptualized by one of our ex-deans, and it has borne so much of good fruit. Okay, so that's one, which is, in an urban setting. I explained to you DOCC, where our students go to the rural areas, understand True Bharat. They work with NGOs where there is total resource constraint. There is no paisa, to do much of their, the funding has dried up or very little funding is there. How do you manage the business? How do you manage a NGO? How do you make sure that there is a greater good that happens? Okay, so these are two very big aspects of it. Apart from that, there is a lot of, I can't tell you, this is something again that distinguishes SPJIMR, we believe. There is a very, very deep and strong bond between faculty and students. And this is a unique aspect of SPJIMR. And much of it we transfer to our students that way as well, informal and mostly in informal settings. Evenings, you will find many times, I stay on campus. So sometimes in the evenings, I go down, have chai with students, or we meet in the bistro. And I'm sure soon you will also start doing it, Ramesh. We meet the students, have informal chats. And then they will ask, ma'am, aaj humne ye news item padha, so many people got fired. Or they will say that, this particular news we read, what do you think of it? And we discuss and we have a nice debate. Sometimes there are differing views. And so through that also we transfer, how you have to become a leader who works in a win-win environment and not a win-lose or a lose-lose environment. How do you ensure you become, and our internal term, and that is one of our guiding principles, is value-based leaders. We want value-based leaders. Leaders who want good for society, good for business as well, can think for both. It is not always that business are for profit. You can make profit, but not at the cost of people, not at the cost of goodness for in social setup. So these are some of the things that we do, Ramesh, to ensure that we keep ourselves, and we don't do it for rankings. We don't do it to become different. We do it because we truly believe in it. And I can say it with absolute surety because I've been here almost 18 years. I've seen it, that it is not just one fine idea or one somebody doing at one corner. It's a consistent thing right across.
Yeah, that's very true. In fact, it's not only when I have read outside, when I was outside, but yes, I have felt within these 4-5 months, I have felt these things. Now, the most exciting, part comes out. Yes, I'm going to study. I'm going to be in Mumbai, and all these things will be there. Yes, I will be learning a lot of things. Wonderful life will be there at campus. That's a brilliant thing. The most exciting is the placements. So everybody, I'm sure, like majority of the time in India, especially when we think about doing an MBA or management courses, especially this 2 years program, the first thing comes to my mind when I'm selecting a B school, and that too a premium B school like SPJIMR. So placement always comes to my mind. So if you can just throw some light, like how the placements are happening or internship opportunities, what students are getting. And of course, we will have bombardment of the questions. What is the average package? Because that gives too much of comfort for aspirants. Okay, if I'm joining this institute, that means at least I will be getting in this kind of a range. So if you can just elaborate something.
So, I think the placement numbers are out there. It's there everywhere on all platforms, on our website. And for those of you who don't know it, the highest package was 53 lakhs last year. Average was 32 lakhs. And frankly, Ramesh, these are numbers we are very, very proud of. And we stand by them because this is something consistently for years. But what I would like to leave with the young people in this forum at the moment is look for a good job. See, once you come to SPJIMR, you will get a great job. There's no question about it. I mean, you don't even have to think milegi ki nahi milegi, you know, in Hindi they say. What you have to think about is, what are the nice roles that I'm going to get? How am I going to make a difference? How am I going to be a contributor to the organization? What's the culture in the organizations that I'm joining? When you look at it from that point of view, the range of amazing companies that have come on our campus, they're mind-boggling. So they give such a choice to people, from startups to the biggest MNC in the country to consulting companies. Practically all of them come and take our students, right? Many times, most of our students have multiple offers and they are spoiled for choice. And some companies have to go away disappointed, which is not a nice feeling for us as well. But we have 300 students total, which is likely to go up. We might increase it also, but it doesn't matter because so many companies come and so many offers are given on our campus. So that's what it is. This year, I mean, that is the last batch, the batch which graduated. As I said, the average package was about 32 lakhs. But this year, our internships were very good. And now the PPOs and PPIs have started coming. We have autumn's internship. We don't have summers like all business schools. We have autumn's internship, and our second-year students have just come back. In fact, my internship presentations are all being lined up today, tomorrow, and all that. And the average stipends were for 2 months was about 3.5, 4 lakhs, you know. So that's as good as it gets. So I think, Ramesh, that's a given. So I don't think anybody who applies to SPJIMR should be at all worried about placements, I would say.
Yeah, very true, very true. And in fact, corporates, I'm sure like they will be always, gung ho to come on the day one. That's what, like, then the attraction is there for SPJIMR students. And this attraction has not been built in only one day. That's a legacy we are carrying for last 41 years. So of course, you can, audience can be assured, like, when you are coming, you will be getting the quality education. And of course, whatever your expectation, to a certain extent, yes, you will be meeting up everything. And the most important aspect comes out. Yes, SPJIMR is good, top premium is cool, one of the best programs what we're offering. And it's a really differentiating programs what we're having, which maybe in India, none of them will be offering. Most important element comes how to get into, or what should I do to get into these programs. Now, you said like approximately 300 seats are there. So of course, like when you say 300 seats, so is it really tough to get into, or is it like very easy to, come over it? Yeah, ma'am.
A difficult one to answer, Ramesh. You put me in a spot. It's easy and difficult. Okay, let me explain that. It is difficult, of course, because many people apply. That very large, the numbers that apply are very, very large, and we have to make a choice, and that makes our life, our choice also difficult. On the other hand, it's easy if you fill in your forms and you fill in your essays exactly the way you are. Don't make up anything. Write genuine answers the way you are. Write it in a form that you would like. We want to see you on your forms, and make sure that, all the elements are filled up. And what you write, in fact, this year we have reduced the number of questions in our essays as well, and made the questions very interesting. 1 or 2 years back, we had changed it, and very interesting questions, So spend some time on them, but don't overthink it. Let me put it like that. Write genuine, straightforward answers. Once you're shortlisted and you come, we have 2 rounds of interview. I think everybody now knows that we have 2 rounds of interview, which is also very different. So here is another thing, Ramesh, where we are very different from other B schools. We have 2 rounds of interviews, and the second differentiation is both the rounds are group interviews, and nobody does group interviews. Group interviews is a differentiator that we have. It enables us to do 2 things. One is see more participants. I just said that so many people apply and we have to select only a few, but it enables us to see many more applicants. The second thing is it helps us assess interpersonal dynamics in a group when we are doing group interviews. So you will be either 4 or 5 in a group. And if Ramesh and I are on your panel, we will be looking at you in each other and how you respond to somebody else. We'll ask you to comment on somebody else's answer. So it helps us understand how you are grasping another person's point of view. Do you appreciate another person's point of view and all that? So there's round one and there is round two. Of course, everybody doesn't make it to round two. And this year we have round one, which is going to be online. And so you can log in from wherever you are. And if you make it to round two, when you make it to round two, you will have a choice to select between two cities. You can either, and we encourage you to come to Mumbai, and we can interview you in Delhi at our Delhi center as well. So Ramesh, that is there. If you want to know anything, you think that participants, applicants would like to know anything more?
Yes,
please.
I would just like to add to the response what you have given. One is like, yes, we are accepting CAT as well as GMAT score, and CAT, which is valid for 1 year, that is coming up, CAT 2022, which is happening on 27th of November. So, and our application closes down on 25th of November. So my suggestion will be to all the aspirants, please do not wait for the last moment, because possibility you might have some kind of technical which is coming at your end, and you are just losing out this 1 year, because if you miss out 25th, that means you'll be losing 1 year if you're aspiring to come to SPJIMR. So that is one thing. One question, ma'am, from my side to you is SPJIMR and profile-based shortlisting. These two becomes, almost I can say synonym. So what does this profile-based shortlisting means? Many times people keep on asking in various parts of the city, various parts of India. So what is this profile-based means? I don't want to come up with a myth what they are carrying, but if you can just clarify.
Okay, sure. An important one actually, Ramesh, because again, we are the ones who do it and no one else does it. So two answers, two parts of the answers. One part is, of course, profile-based calls are those calls that go out even before the CAT result is out. So you have been shortlisted in SPJIMR. If you make the cut for CAT, then you are anyway in. Okay, so that's one, it comes out before CAT results. The second thing is, what is profile-based? Profile-based is your overall profile. That means, how have you performed in your academics? Have you done any extracurricular, which is worth, at a larger forum? For instance, you're a national level tennis player, or a swimmer, or something that you have excelled in, maybe music, maybe art, maybe dance, maybe any other that you believe. We've even had stand-up comedians. This year we have two people in our second year. I'm yet to check out in the first year we have other things, but in second year we have two stand-up comedians who said we did so many gigs and we did. So, and then of course your WorkX, if you have WorkX. Okay, if you're a fresher, then all the others which are said will count. So your 10, 11, 12, your graduation marks, your WorkX if you have, your extracurriculars that you have done right through, and as much spread of extracurricular. Please do not only limit yourself to the traditional ones like your music and sports and all. It could be any other. So we take an overall look at your profile, and we believe that we see this candidate, and this candidate's, the way the person has filled up the form on what he or she has written seems to fit into our profile. The way we see our SPJIMR candidates, we say this is a profile we want inside our institute. And that's why it's called a profile-based call. Okay, so that's what it is.
Okay, just to give you more insight, like generally people have been believing like profile-based shortlisting at SPJIMR means if you are having a work experience, then only you will be considered, which I guess Professor Renuka has clarified in a right manner. No, it doesn't mean that. Profile-based means it is going to be a lot of other parameters will be there, which includes work experience as one of them. So please do not be under impression that you are a fresher. That means you are not eligible to apply, or you will not stand a chance to be getting shortlisted. It is not the case. So you can please go ahead and you can apply.
Yeah, Ramesh, I'm glad you brought it up, because I'm always amazed at this kind of a myth that is there, that SPJIMR takes people with WorkX, because every year we have so many students who are freshers, and I think we should get them to speak about their how they applied and all that. So please, we take freshers. Many of our profile-based calls are to freshers as well. Actually, majority are to freshers, if I may say. But then that differs year to year. Please, this is absolutely a myth that SPJIMR doesn't take freshers, and we only take people with WorkX. That's not right. We do take freshers, and quite a few.
Okay, ma'am. One thing, yes,
and non-engineers as well.
Oh yes, brilliant, ma'am. You have asked this question because many times people do ask, I'm not an engineer, so of course, top B school like SPJIMR will not select me. So let me, manage somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's not the case. I guess that is the beauty of SPJIMR Institute. Like we do have, it's a profile means we have a class composition which will have variety of students, engineering, non-engineering, everybody will be there. Yeah. One thing, ma'am, since MBA fees are slightly little bit higher, majority of the people might feel that way. So one is like, is there a facility where people can get some kind of an, financial aid or in terms of some scholarship, or do you also facilitate some kind of an education loan for our aspirants?
Answer is yes to both. We have a means cum merit scholarship that we give. We give it as an institute. We also have partners who give scholarships. And we have tied up with banks for loans. So there is no student who will not qualify for either of them. I mean, depending. Merit scholarship, of course, is merit cum means. Educational loans, banks give. You just have to say SPJIMR and you'll get a loan. So you don't have to worry about anything, and you don't have to worry about funding. And the loan repayments are also pretty easy. You can call up our admission office, you can look at our website, everything is available. You don't have to worry at all. That should be the last of your worry. Currently your worry should be, how do I write my essays very well so that people like Dr. Renuka Kamath and others can see you as a person very well. So write beautifully, just write as you would speak and honestly.
Yeah, so I guess the students who are attending right now, they need not worry about the other parameters in terms of, the loans and everything. So yes, the moment you take an SPJIMR or the banking institution, the moment they will come to know, you are getting into an SPJIMR, so they don't know the terms and conditions will be slightly flexible for you. They know you are going to be their potential customer in future. So don't be worried about that point. I guess this point of time, you just need to be focusing on your exam, that is CAT exam, and those who have already appeared for GMAT can also apply with that one. And most importantly, you need not forget to apply to SPJIMR as the date is getting over on 25th of November. So my, again, sincere advice will be, please go ahead and fill up a form as soon as possible, if possible today itself. Now, I guess we have covered almost all the aspects of the session. Now, we can invite certain questions. We have still left with 15-20 minutes left. So, yeah, Prabha, you can just, I guess, the procedure of unmuting and then taking up the questions.
Yeah, Dipamrita, would you just carry this forward?
Yes, question from Aryan. Aryan, can you please unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening, everyone. Respected sir, ma'am, and everybody present here. Ma'am, I had a question related to the form filling process. Like in the achievement sections and in the versatility section, for the description of our activities, there's a word limit of 25. So like it has to be within the word limit. But there are certain things which would probably go beyond the word limit. So how, as the one viewing these many applications from so many number of candidates would view it as, should be very strict with the word limit?
Yeah, so my suggestion to you, Aryan, would be that stay within the word limit. And anything more you want, and be very crisp in the way you describe it. Put in words that will catch our eye, which are the main essence of what you want to say. The rest of the thing, you have two options. One, you can put it again in one of your essays, and the other is you bring it up when you are being interviewed, and you can detail it out. Does that help, Aryan?
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Hoping to see you in the campus.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Question. There are a few questions in the chat box as well. So I would like to convey a few.
Sure.
Okay. Ma'am, there's a question from Lakshay who wants to know that how much cutoff in CAT exam is decent to get an admission in the college.
Yeah, so Lakshay, it's very difficult to give you a cutoff like this because it varies from year to year. But anything above 85, which is there on our website, anything above 85 qualifies. But difficult to give you a cutoff because every year it depends on how the applicants perform, right, in the CAT, and what is the where everybody is and what is the percentile and how many people are above. So might be difficult. But what I would, Lakshay, advise you to do, there is a student session which is going to happen. Please join that. It will be there on the SPJIMR handle. The student session, the students will advise you what is probably the best way. Ramesh, would that be fine? I think student sessions are happening.
Yes, one session is going to be conducted. You can just stay tuned, or you can just go on our website, that is spjimr.org. So you can just have a look over there. That is one form filling session is going to be conducted. And on 18th, of course, one more session is going to be there. So you can attend, you can just have a look over there. Or in case if you want to just don't wait for the session, if you want to get it some advice, you can always call up on our number, and you can always drop an email also. Our team is very actively responding to all the emails. It's admissions.pgdm@spjimr.org. That's the email ID. You can note it down. It is available on our website, so you can drop a mail and your queries will be resolved.
Okay, ma'am, moving on to the next question. It is from Shubhashish. He wants to know how many seats are there in the finance department.
Okay. So, because PGDM has 240 seats, and the PGDM is the one with the specialization. Broadly, we divided by 4, So it's 60 seats. Now, sometimes it's 56, sometimes it is 64. I cannot give you the exact number. It will depend on how the wait lists move and what is the interest. Sometimes, we find that IM area gets more interest, sometimes finance area, marketing or operations. So to give you one answer, it is 60 seats, which is 1/4 of 240. I hope that helps.
Professor Renuka, I have one question related to this one. One is like, since SPJIMR happens to take preference, like either you are applying for marketing or say finance or operations, whatever. So there will be certain students who might think like, okay, I'm applying for the marketing. What if I got developed an interest, like, no, I want to go for finance specializations. So is it possible to shift maybe in the second year or third semester, or during second semester, I realized like, let me go for finance instead of marketing. So is it possible?
Yeah, very much, Ramesh. I'm glad you brought it up. I again forgot to talk about this, but it is very much possible. We understand that sometimes there could be a change of heart. It happens many times that students attend classes in the first year and they feel their interest is now shifting towards something else. So if you are in the Dean's top 20, if academically you're doing very well, no questions asked, you'll be given. Otherwise, you just have to write an SOP, and there will be a team which will sit and interview you like in an admission interview, only to assess that what your interest is in the area you want to shift to. It's a given also, of course, that your marks should be good, but very possible, Ramesh, to shift. There is no issue, and there are students who shift. There are very few students who shift because then they realize, because they've done the homework, right, at the time of application. So, but very, very possible to shift. So I don't think anybody needs to worry about that. There is counseling also done. So sometimes students want to shift, but they're not sure, whether it is good. So our career services department has a team that sits with the students, advises them what is good for the career, looks at the background, looks at the interest. Sometimes faculty, people like me and many of some of my colleagues, we sit with the students to advise them whether the shift will be good for them or should they stay in whichever they have. So yeah, that's the process.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the next question in the chat box is, the student wants to say that he is an architect who wants to get into consulting. So what is the specialization that would help him in this process?
Okay, it will depend on whether the person is a fresher or not a fresher, but either way, what you can do is look at a curriculum on the website and see which are the subjects and areas that interest you, which is a specialization that interests you personally. Look at the subjects. So sometimes we've had architects in the past. So some architects prefer to do operation supply chain because it's more project management and things like that. Or some people prefer marketing. But whichever the specialization you choose, you can still go to consulting. Consulting takes from all specialization. So it doesn't matter which specialization you are in. Only my personal worry is you should do subjects that you are interested in. Rather than I want to go to consulting, let me do anything. Don't do anything. Take subjects that interest you. And you can consulting, you can take from, you can sit for consulting interviews from any of the specialization.
Okay, so ma'am, there's a very common question asked by 2-3 students in the chat box. They want to know that what do you look for in the applications during your interviews or during the admission process? What are you looking for in the students?
Yeah, so see, first of all, for shortlisting, to make it to the interviews, we are looking at the consistency of your grades, your scores, your marks. We are looking at your work ex if you have. If you've been in college committees, what have you done over there? What are you saying in your essay? Is it looking like you are passionate about some things in life? And you have hobbies that you pursue? Are there interests beyond academics that you have? Things like that. So overall personality generally is what is used to shortlist you. In the terms of interview, in a round 1, we look for how prepared you are to take your specialization that you have asked for. What is the interest that you are evincing? Have you done some reading? If you're a fresher, have you done some reading? Have you done some project? How well do you understand which is a specialization you're going to? If you're work ex, then naturally we will question you on your work ex. What is the project you worked on? If you are a client side, what is the client? Who was the client? What have you done? Most times we will look at your form and interview that on that based for your first round 1. When you make it to round 2 is what we call as the fitment round, our values round. We are looking at what is your worldview? How do you look at the world? If there are contrarian points that are offered to you, or something that is a shocking point that is offered to you, how do you respond? How patient are you in understanding and accepting a very different point of view from another panelist? It's a group interview. Do you read? Do you read newspapers regularly? And mind you, these are points that will hold you good for any interview, not just SPJIMR. We, of course, since round 2, we really look at in depth at the individual and how you look at the world and how your personality is. How mature are you? How do you treat others and those kind of things? That's as close as I can go. I mean, beyond this, I don't know whether other than interviewing you, I don't know how else to get into.
No, that definitely helps.
Yeah, thanks.
To sum up, I would like to ask one question.
Sure.
When there are many students who are not very much aware of which specialization actually they may be interested in, because they're pretty confused. It's like, somebody has taken finance, somebody has taken something and done really very well. So how would you advise somebody who is not really sure or who is okay with any specialization? How does somebody like that go on to choose a specialization? Because it matters, you have to apply and you tell the institute that you want to go into this. So what would your advice be? What factors to check and look into?
Yeah, so first of all, I like I answered earlier, there are 2 groups. One is people with work ex, by and large, have figured it out because they have worked and they are working in a particular field. Either they want to stay in it or they want to change, and they have made friends in the industry whom they can go to. I think the bigger worry comes from people who do not have work ex and they are freshers, and they are a little confused which one will be the best fit. I think the best way is number 1, look at all the subjects on our website and see which are the areas that interest you. Subjects interest you. Does marketing interest you? Do consumers, understanding consumers interest you? Does understanding channels, how e-commerce works interest you? Or does supply chain interest you? How do goods move from the factory? How are raw materials procured? How are projects managed? Then it's operation supply chain. If you're more interested in how digitization is working, how IT supports various functions, how product management as a role will pan out, then you probably have to apply either for marketing or for information management. And finance, of course, is very, very specific to financial roles, which is, are you interested in investment banking or, corporate finance? Now, problem comes if you don't understand these terms, then my suggestion is reach out to people, either to our alums, write to our admission ID. We will reach out to you and our counselors will talk to you and explain to you which is the best specialization which will fit you. I think that is the best. And there are student forums. Our students have forums. Please join those. Ask them the questions. Your seniors and all will be the best people who can advise. Prabha, I hope that explains somewhat.
Yes, it does. Actually, I always encourage all students to, go out and ask. I think questioning is not very much encouraged in our classrooms. Right. So if you start questioning, then only you will get a lot of answers. And that's the first step to anything, understanding.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. This was a very, very informative and insightful webinar that we've had. Thank you so much for giving us all those wonderful insights and explaining things to us. Thank you so much for being on board. I think we're done with this. Unmute yourself and please ask the question.
Hello.
Yeah, Inia,
yeah.
Hi. Yes, ma'am. I have done my MTech in biotechnology. I did not have maths in 11th and 12th. Okay. I just wanted to change my stream to finance. I just wanted to know if that is possible without maths in 11th and 12th.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it is possible. Answer is yes, it is possible. But I think the bigger question you have to ask is, would you enjoy those subjects? Will you be able to cope in those subjects? I think that is a bigger question. So look at the subjects that are there and maybe talk to a couple of students who have done what it entails. I think that is where your worry should be. So yes, you can apply. Yes, you can do it. I think coping is what you should be worried about because you don't have you haven't done it from your school. That's the only thing. Keep that in mind.
Many people are really worried about, because when you talk about finance, you think of numbers.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I think
true.
that was a very valid question.
True.
I guess that's it. We're done with the questions that we have today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Prabha. Thank you, Professor Renuka, for agreeing to conduct this session. Thank you, audience, also. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.